I got involved in a very non-traditional path. For me to be getting a PhD in science is huge. In fact, I believe I'm the only one from my graduating class who's doing so, and my parents are super proud. I went from not having a single scientist in my family, not knowing anything about science, to spending like 12 hours a day here. It was something I had never been exposed to, but once I started to do it, it made sense. And the next logical step was to go to graduate school. For me, it's kind of like changing the face of science a little bit, like showing like, I'm not your stereotypical scientist, and a scientist doesn't have a look. My name is Shamika Wilmington, and I'm a graduate student here at the University of Texas at Austin, and my research project is to understand how proteins are regulated in cancer cells.
So graduate students are really the lifeblood of the university. They are critical in teaching innovation, they're absolutely essential to research, and they are an important conduit between the research at the university, our students, and the general community.
We are competing for the best minds in this country and around the world, and we want to attract these students to come to UT.
Obviously, UT was a dream school in terms of coming to graduate programs. It's a very strong program in chemistry.
There's a camaraderie that comes from being on the front lines of a fight. The energy and intensity that comes from anybody at the highest level is so strong. And that's what it takes, because these are hard problems.
Some of our biggest breakthroughs, our most important contributions come through collaborations, and some of the best ideas come from those out-of-the-box, really inspired graduate students in our group.
We are on the front lines of doing the research. We're the ones at the bench. We always think about how, in the broader sense, our research can impact society and medicine.
We study this large machine that's present in every cell. It's called the proteasome. And the proteasome is extremely important because it's responsible for removing toxic, misfolded, or damaged proteins.
Graduate students often serve as mentors in research for undergraduate students. Very often are teaching assistants in our courses.
For me, it's always just trying to show them, look, I was in your position at some point in time, and I had people who were willing to help me, and I just want to be that to them. I want them to understand.
Because of Eric, I've become more interested in doing medical research, and I feel like that's a route that I probably would not have considered if it were not for him. And he helps us while we're doing our experiments. But more than how to do it, he'll tell us like the theory behind it, so we're learning as well.
We're here working together, and I'm just here for seeing your formation of that and bringing you along.
A great thing about attending a research university, you're learning creativity, discovery, critical thinking, and a lot of that learning comes from one-on-one contact with the graduate students who are in the process of doing that themselves.
We're competing to bring people from engineering, from computer science, from physics, from neuroscience, from other areas of biology that haven't typically focused on the brain together, but it's the students who make it happen every day and allows us to break out into new areas of understanding.
We can't do this without 100% engagement at the faculty level and at the graduate student level. Rome wasn't built in a day, and if you're doing science, you realize that Mother Nature does not give up her secrets easily.
Graduate students are catalysts for essentially all of the research that occurs at this university.
They're in the classroom, interfacing as older brothers and older sisters.
Honestly, we're doing something that's never been done before. We are trying to understand something that's not known.
This place could not function without those graduate students.
Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely hard days, but for the most part, you know why you're in it. You know that you want to discover something, and so when something exciting happens, like, you can really run with that and move forward. I know that all the time I spend here, mentoring, conducting experiments, doing research, that could possibly change the world, and it feels really good.